Hi there, Serial Trader here. Do an update on Bitcoin, and I've been looking forward to doing this update now that we've had a nice bullish reversal. And okay, so in the last video, I was discussing the potential for us having our bottom in place already at the end of September there. But I also discussed an alternate scenario that would allow for just one more short term push down here. And that alternate scenario ended up playing out. And we did push down to as low here on Bitfinex as 73.33. So we'll call it roughly 7,300. But now that finished the sequence here for wave C of YF2. And I mean, there's a few different ways you can label it on a short-term basis. But the point is, you got a completed 5 waves down for wave C of YF2. And you completed the overall sequence. And the evidence that that overall sequence has been completed is obviously this very substantial reversal to the upside, accompanied with good volume and breaking multiple resistance levels. Also the parallel trend channels that we've been in for quite some time. So I've got a couple trend channels. I have the trend channel of just the Y wave itself, and we clearly broke out of that. And then I have the trend channel of this overall wave 2, WXY wave 2, and now we're actually cleanly breaking out of that as well. So that's substantial price evidence that the low is definitely in place, and we're starting the next impulsive wave to the upside, which will more than fully retrace this correction, which means we're going above that June high of 13,764 on this chart. So it looks really good. Now, yeah, I'm extremely pleased, that my Bitcoin position is now doing very well, and that's all exciting and everything. And I'm certainly looking forward to much higher levels as the weeks and months progress here. But what I really want to point out is just the almost uncanny confluence we ended up having here. So for a while here, I've had this 61.8% price retracement as one of the potential levels for a reversal. And that's just the retracement of the overall move from the December low to the June high. So we came down to 7,333. On this chart, the 618 was 72.44. So less than $100 of a near perfect 61.8% retracement. And really, when we're dealing with a multi-$1,000 instrument, less than $100, I mean, that's essentially, near perfection. So that's really nice, 618. And also, the most common relationship, or the most common retracement of a wave 1 for a wave 2, of course, is the 61.8% retracement. And it's just nice to see that kind of textbook reaction off that level. But what I thought was also even potentially more interesting is the Fibonacci time consumption as well. So measuring from where we started here, the December low, so measuring the amount of time from that low to the June high. So we're measuring the time of this initial impulse wave, projecting that out into the future. And I know I brought up the 50% time relationship which lined up quite nicely with that September 30th, October 1st area. That didn't prove to be the ultimate bottom, although it was close enough. That bottom was at 7,733, and we went essentially $400 lower. So not a huge difference really, but the ultimate bottom actually occurred here at the 61.8% time relationship. So the amount of time consumed in that initial impulse wave up, we took 61.8% of that amount of time to the day, to the price bar, to form this wave 2 correction. So I thought that was really interesting and wanted to point out. So you see that lines up perfectly right here. 23rd of October, which marks the low, and that's the perfect 61.8% time relationship. So the fact that we did a 61.8% time relationship right alongside a 61.8% price relationship, or at least within less than $100 of that relationship. I just thought that was a really cool technical confluence to point out. You don't always see it so perfect and to the day and to the exact level like that. But when you do see it like that, and then you get that expected reaction off of it, it just adds confidence to the quality of the chart, the quality of the pattern, and ultimately the quality of the trade and the confidence in the trade. And of course, I've been viewing this Bitcoin chart, as a longer term setup. I mean, it's nice to try and do some shorter term trades around these subdivisions, and that there's certainly a place for that. But the real big money is made getting these large trends correct and riding them, for as much as you can. So I'm certainly, almost, I look at these things all the time, and I'm staring at charts all the time every day. It still, blows me away when you get such a perfect, technical occurrence like this. And the golden ratio, 61.8. We have a golden ratio of time, golden ratio of price, and then just a beautiful bullish reversal from there. So yeah, I just thought I'd point out. I thought it was really cool. So obviously, I'm expecting significantly higher prices for Bitcoin, and definitely marking this as the low. So if Bitcoin, in the unlikely event, got below that low we just put in at 7,333, I mean, that would be an extremely bearish sign. Not that I'm expecting that at all, far from it. But that is certainly a level where you would want to abandon a longer term bullish position, because after such a bullish reaction off of that, to take out that level now would actually be extremely bearish. So just keep that in mind. But I'm not too concerned about that. To me, it's one thing to try and anticipate the bottom, and of course that's what I'm trying to do here, analyzing all these subdivisions and other technical factors. And we also did another thing that made me confident, the bottom was either in or close to being in, was the extreme bullish divergence here we had on the daily chart. And knowing that even if price did come down one more time, it'd be, very weakened by this divergence. So even though price made a lower low here, you can see that, the MACD moving averages and RSI were nowhere near making new lows. That's telling you that it's kind of a final exhaustion move. There's no more momentum left to the downside, and that kind of an upside reversal is imminent. And this is just, a stunning example of that, but certainly worth pointing out. And another thing that added confidence that, even if that short-term level, labeling that bottom at September 30th didn't hold, there certainly shouldn't have been too much downside left. And there wasn't. It was essentially, roughly $400 of a lower low, and then, immediately erased and then some. So I just want to point all those things out. And I'll get rid of the time relationship here just to clean up the chart. Now, looking ahead, now that we convincingly have our new trending wave started here, and I am currently labeling this as a 1 up, 2 down, and then wave 3 in progress. Now let's kind of compress this and look higher. Okay. Now wave 3, just a simple 1.618 relationship between wave 3 and wave 1 off of the wave 2 low. That would get us up to close to 25,000, 24,401. And that's just a very, relatively modest 1.618 relationship. Bitcoin can easily exceed that in a big way, certainly in a third wave. But that's just an interesting level that I think is fairly attainable in the not so distant future to be looking at. And obviously, if it just blows past there, well, all the better. But certainly in the next few months or so, that's an interesting level to look at. And yeah, I just thought I'd point that out. So now if we go in on the shorter term time frame, just to examine the price action here off the low, And this is the 4-hour chart. I mean, this is obviously a new impulse wave off the bottom. And let's see here. Just taking a stab at labeling it, despite it being so fast and explosive. I mean, you can easily get a, 1, 2, 3, 4, possibly a 5 up in progress. And I mean, you don't need to marry this short-term wave count here. But you can just see that there's some sort of 5-wave impulsive sequence, either in place or in development. And that certainly denotes that the trend of a larger degree is now, once again, pointing back up. So I just thought I'd point that out as well. This is clearly not a corrective bounce up. This looks very sharp, very impulsive, explosive, high volume, all the things you'd want to see on a true reversal. And I believe at one point, okay, within a 24-hour period, you had a 42% move off the lows to the upside, something like that. And that's a pretty rare percentage move in 24-hour period, even for something as, explosive as Bitcoin can be. So that's the kind of thing you want to see. You want to see something really convincing. If we just gone up here and just kind of meandered up, made slightly higher, higher highs, but then just were fading, it would inspire less confidence, and it would be, less likely that this is the ultimate bottom. But with such a time and price, relationship lining up there so nicely, and now such a fantastic move to the upside. And also, if we just go to the candlesticks, little candlestick analysis. So this is a bullish engulfing candlestick that we did on the 25th of October. And I think it engulfed like 30 prior price bars. So, okay, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Oh yeah, so I recalled it correctly. 30 prior candlesticks. The real bodies of all 30 prior candlesticks engulfed in one candle on huge volume. Good follow through. So far more follow through, okay? So that looks very convincing. But yeah, I just want to point that out. So now if you're already in a Bitcoin position, I would just let it ride out. There should be significantly higher levels ahead. I mean, we could possibly, go up 2.5, 3 times from here in even just a, relatively modest wave 3-1 relationship. And, as the pattern develops, as we go on, there will be new support levels formed that we can, tighten our risk up against, tighten our stops against. But for now, the critical level, obviously, is the low we just put in. And other than that, let this thing ride and let the trade pay you. Okay, well, I think that's about all I want to point out here for now. And yeah, it's certainly made for a very enjoyable weekend, seeing this kind of excellent move and finally getting rewarded for being patient, trying to catch this bottom here. You don't have to buy the exact bottom to still do well. You just have to get it largely, near that area. Just like you don't have to sell the exact top. As long as you get somewhere within the range, buy low, sell high, you do quite well for yourself. Okay. Well, that's probably good for now. Serial Trader signing off.